Welcome to Flashback, a recap of some of the stories that made headlines during the week. On Monday, the federal government rearranged the convener of the Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore, on a 2-count amended charge of alleged cyberstalking against Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu after he called him a criminal on X and Facebook.
At the resumed hearing of the case, counsel to the government, Akinlolu Kehinde, notified Justice Mohammed Umar of a new amended charge which removed X and Facebook from the list of defendants, leaving Omoyele Sowore as the sole defendant. Mr. Sowore pleaded not guilty to the charges. Counsel for the government expressed readiness to start the trial with a witness available in court, but Marshal Abubakar, counsel for the defendant, opposed this. Mr. Abubakar stated that the information of the prosecution witnesses and his or her statements on oath were not attached to the charge. He cited Section 36, subsection 6 of the Nigerian Constitution, which requires witness deposition and name to be front-loaded to the charges. Justice Umaru held that all necessary documents for the defendants and all processes should be regularized. The matter has now been adjourned until 22nd January for trial. In the charge, the prosecution contends that by referring to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a criminal, the defendant published a false statement for the purpose of causing breakdown of law and order, posing a threat to or causing such a message to be sent. The charges against Mr. Sowore are punishable with a fine of a minimum of 15 million naira or 5 years imprisonment.
And that same day, Nigeria marked a major milestone on the global stage with the launch of its first ever Nigerian pavilion at the 2026 World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who inaugurated the Nigerian House, described it as a clear signal of the country's renewed resolve to engage the global economy, not as an observer, but as a serious participant. Officials say Nigerian House, Davos, will serve as a hub for dialogue, partnerships and investment, reinforcing the message that Nigeria is open for business and also open for collaboration.
This day represents an extraordinary day in the history of our engagements at this beautiful meeting point of global political leadership, policy thinkers and corporate enterprise. For the first time in our nation's history, Nigeria stands at Davos with a sovereign pavilion of its own. Nigeria House is a response to the lapses of the past. It reflects our intentions. It reflects our seriousness. It reflects our commitment. Above all, it advertises both our readiness and our resolve to take a frontline seat in the discourse of the global economy, not as observers, but as participants with a clear sense of purpose and place.
This project not only demonstrates a strong public-private partnership, but also reflects the rejuvenation of the Nigerian economy, the reinvigoration of the belief and the trust of the private sector in the federal government of Nigeria. It shows a deepening sense of national pride and commitment to the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. The Nigeria House exists for one purpose: to make it easier for credible partners to understand our market, engage our businesses and institutions, and move from interest to partnership.
On Tuesday, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says it prosecuted and convicted 14,225 drug offenders in the last 5 years. He also mentioned that the agency seized 14.8 million kilograms of illicit drugs within the same period. The chairman and CEO of the NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, made this known in Abuja at the Chairman Chief Executive Officer's Commands, Awards and Commendation Ceremony. 166 officers and personnel across all formations who made this possible by putting in extra effort were recognized and awarded at the event.
A fugitive drug baron who masterminded the killing of 3 of our personnel, of our brave personnel, 12 years ago, Similarly, another fugitive who committed drug crimes in South Korea was arrested, tried, convicted, and served a jail term in South Korea, deported back to Nigeria, and went right back to the habit, in fact, strengthening it across other South African nations. We finally arrested him, and his trial is ongoing.
There are so many seizures of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances we have made over the years. The recent one was the seizure of 17.9 kg, which I am the OC, and with my officers we made the seizure of cocaine destined to United Kingdom.
Making us work day to day and giving us the grace to make our rest and work hard.
Amended is a job that before you join the job, you should have the ambition. You should have at least the zeal. It's not coming to Amended for what you get, but the passion for the job.
And also on Wednesday, the Department of State Services confirmed that the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, is in its custody. Mr. Malami was rearrested after his release from the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja. His rearrest was linked to fresh allegations of terrorism financing and the discovery of arms and ammunition in his Birni Kebbi mansion. And still on Tuesday, the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison Maduke, appeared before the Southwark Crown Court in London, the United Kingdom, for the preliminary hearing of her bribery charges trial. Proceedings, including technical matters and jury selection, began in the course of the week, with the former minister in attendance. The 65-year-old has been on bail since she was first arrested in London in October 2015. Now, she has denied 6 charges against her. On Wednesday, the Federal High Court in Abuja affirmed the Nnamdi Usman-led caretaker committee as the legitimate leadership of the Labour Party. Justice Peter Laifu based his ruling on a Supreme Court judgment delivered on the 4th of April, which recognized Nnamdi Usman as the valid leader of the party. The court ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to formally recognize the Nnamdi-led caretaker committee as the party's leadership. In her first interview after the Qatar victory, Nnamdi Usman said the court order has brought an end to the crisis in the Labour Party.
The most important thing we have to do now is, apart from reconciliation, of course, is to start organizing congresses right from the ward to the local government, state, and have a national convention. His Excellency Peter Obi, as a presidential hopeful, he's free to go into any political party he feels would give him the chance to run. And
in a swift reaction, the Julius Abure faction of the Labour Party has announced its decision to appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court. The National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, said the judgment is a clear contradiction against the Supreme Court judgment, which clearly stated that no court has the power to appoint leadership for any political party, and that leadership issue is an internal affair of the political party. The Abure faction appealed to its members to remain calm, as the leadership will do everything within the laws to ensure that justice is served for the interests of the party. But that same Wednesday, we reported that troops of Operation Hardened Kai recorded significant operational gains against terrorists operating within the Timbuktu Triangle.
In the latest phase of their operations, soldiers successfully cleared and dominated key terrorist enclaves, including Terjejeri, Tilaria, and the Ajigin Abirma general areas. During the advance, troops made intermediate contact with fleeing insurgents and engaged them decisively, killing several terrorists in the process. The operation took a dramatic turn while troops were consolidating at a harbour area about 6 kilometers north of Shilaria. Soldiers encountered 2 vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices, VPIEDs. Through alertness and swift response, one of the devices was successfully destroyed. The second VPIED, however, breached the defensive position, affecting some logistics platforms. During the incident, some soldiers and members of the Civilian Joint Task Force lost their lives, while others sustained injuries. The wounded were promptly evacuated by Nigerian Army aviation helicopters to the 7th Division Medical Service and hospital, with Nigerian Air Force platforms providing aerial cover. Troops later uncovered mass graves containing about 20 terrorist bodies, further indicating heavy losses suffered by insurgents in the area.
And even now, as we speak,
the military says operations are ongoing, with troops maintaining pressure on fleeing terrorists as efforts continue to restore peace and security across the northeast.
A flashback to Thursday in Rivers State, where the Chief Judge, Justice Chibuzo Simeon Amadi, declined a request by the State House of Assembly to constitute a 7-member panel to investigate allegations of gross misconduct leveled against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odu. Justice Amadi cited 2 existing court orders restraining him from appointing the panel. He further noted that the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martins Omoyele, has already filed an appeal against the orders at the Court of Appeal. A big story on Friday, the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, formally resigned his membership of the New Nigeria People's Party, citing deepening internal crisis and the need to safeguard the broader interest of the people of Kano State. His resignation was contained in a statement signed by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Bature. The governor, Yusuf, pointed to persistent internal dispute and legal challenges that have continued to unsettle the party structure nationwide. According to the governor, the internal disagreements have widened divisions and weakened cohesion within the party. Governor Yusuf stated that his decision followed careful reflection and was guided strictly by public interest consideration.
His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Yusuf, who today, 23rd January 2026, decided to withdraw his membership with the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, at his ward, which is Iso ward in Gwale local government area of Kano State. This resignation is solely personal due to the internal crisis the party is facing. And His Excellency, in the best interest of the good people of Kano State, decided to leave this platform at this time. His Excellency is resigning along with 8 members of the House of Representatives and 21 members of the State House of Assembly, with the 44 local government chairmen in Kano State. And we will announce the next political destination of His Excellency in no distant time.
But the New Nigeria People's Party expressed disappointment at the news of Governor Abba Yusuf's resignation. In a statement, the party's National Publicity Secretary, Ladepo Johnson, described the move as a betrayal by a man entrusted to the people of Kano State for his decades of unwavering loyalty and service to the Kwankwasia movement. The NNPP said his decision risks returning the state to the very forces that have long opposed its progress and the aspiration of its people.